Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're focusing more on the gameplay side of Skyrim rather than just immersion, so it might get a little weird here or there. But if you end up enjoying this video enough, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you find a mod that you ended up liking enough to download, please make sure to hit that endorse button for mod authors if you're on PC, because they kind of really deserve it because they keep making mods free for us. But as of right now, let's dive right in and I hope you guys end up enjoying. The first mod up is a mod that I believe everyone needs, or at least should try. This mod is called Alternate Perspective. This mod is like Alternate Start, but much more advanced and updated, giving you brand new options rather than sitting through a 10-minute intro that no one really cares about anymore in 2024. First, you start off in a little room after pressing New Game with little objectives, and each objective guides you to items in the room that all have their own usefulness with items stashed inside them. So you can give yourself a little head start and build your character before picking your new game start. Of course, you don't have to really pick any starting gear if you want, because once you open the menu by speaking to the dragon that is in the room, the dragon will also use whatever textures you're currently using in your game. But once you open the menu, you will be given a plethora of new options to pick your start. Some are pretty simple with only one option once you click it, but some will have multiple locations that you can pick from. But if you don't pick any option at all, you can just go through the door that is to the right of the dragon, where you'll be given the new main story intro. In this start, you start off as a normal person who just happens to be present at Helgen, and you were about to witness the execution of Ulfric. Generally, after modding Skyrim, the main intro becomes broken, and that's why there are mods to skip it. But with this mod, you can do it again, and this time, considering the Imperials weren't going to kill you, you have no reason to side against them. This mod definitely opens up so many more paths for you to pick when you're starting your character. You can even start off as a vampire, or you can just befriend the Forsworn so they won't attack you on sight anymore, at least not until you betray them. You can even go and become a werewolf if you want, though fair warning, I'm not sure how the companions react to that. But I don't think it'll break anything, considering there are a lot of patches available. But now we're moving on to another gameplay mod, this time focusing on combat. This small mod is called Sekiro Combat S. This mod is the light version of the full Sekiro Combat, just taking advantage of the new blocking system implemented by the mod, and the new spark effect when you block something. With this mod, you can use it to block pretty much everything in the game if you time it perfectly, which means that it will block pretty much arrows and even magic, but you will still take damage from the area of effect the spell applies after the initial damage. There are two different block effects with this mod. There is one where you block a little early, and that will only block the damage done to your character, but enemies can still continue to attack you. But if you do a perfect parry, which means you parry just on time, enemies will stagger, allowing you a chance to counterattack. Also, a little fun fact, you can't use this with Valhalla Combat, you just have to let Valhalla Combat overwrite Sekiro Combat S. So that means you won't get the blocking system, but you will get the blocking effects. But speaking of effects, this one dealing with dragons in Skyrim. This mod is called Dragon VFX Edit. This mod will overhaul dragon enemies' main breath attack, but as of right now, unfortunately, they only overhaul the frost and fire dragons. Maybe in the future we'll get an expansion, but for now I guess this might be enough, considering without mods, a bunch of dragon mods in your game, fire and frost dragons are the main ones that you run into. This mod adds new particle effects to the dragon breath that give it its new textures, and the reason that this mod could even be ported to consoles is because it doesn't rely on ENB light. This mod has its own built-in glow and haze effect for the dragon's breath. But cool thing, if you have a texture for your fires in your game, it will take advantage of that, so might want to use a cool one if you download this. And yes, the pun was intended. But now for one not so much gameplay, but I wouldn't really call this a video without at least one armor mod. This mod is called Einherjr, and yes, I do believe this is spelled like that on purpose. This mod adds a light armored, female only armor unfortunately, but it does support 3BA and B-Hump. At base there is no SMP involved with this armor, hence why it could be ported to Xbox and PlayStation, but for PC people there are patches that will add it to this armor. This armor comes with multiple pieces, including new weapons and a shield to match the armor set. And depending on where your allegiance lies, you can wear whatever holds armor and color to match for this armor. The shield and the clothing colors will change to match it, and the shield will also use that holds sigil. It's not just Imperial or Stormcloak with this armor, you can quite literally wear any city's color, whatever fits you best for your current character. But the basic brown one is the armor's intended look. There is also two versions of the outfit. In the front there's a little skirt if you prefer, which does look better and explain why there is a SMP version, but the other version doesn't have that piece of clothing, which is the one I prefer if you don't want to destroy your FPS. You can also pick between multiple pelt colors from bear pelt to even ice wolf's pelt, which is white. But I'll be honest, the normal wolf variant here looks very similar to the bears. But now moving on to a mod everyone should be using. This next mod up is called Skyrim Cut Content Restoration. You guys love cutting room floor so much that it has millions of downloads, so I don't see any reason why this one doesn't have the same. This mod restores content that was already intended for the game, but Bethesda decided it wouldn't make the game. So such as new farms filled with NPCs that are already in your game, but sometimes it does add new NPCs just so it doesn't feel so empty. On top of tons of new locations for you to explore, there were also scripted events added back to your game that you normally couldn't hear or see without cheating. I won't spoil them, but they were listed on the mod page, and I'm also showing some here. But trust me, if you love Easter eggs, then you'll definitely love the little details included with this. And because they were originally intended for the game, it's all lore friendly. This also adds back some NPCs to the game that were cut, like the guy living in Bree's home. You can't really get rid of him peacefully, which is good or bad, I'm not sure, but many more NPCs were also placed, like the College of Winterhold miners going to Sarthal to mine. Basically NPCs that should have always been there from the beginning. You see them on the outside, why wouldn't they also be on the inside mining? Some NPCs are inconsequential, but some of them also have their own quests that you can complete for them. And aside from the quests though, there's a handful of new spells added to your game that I know you guys will love. Honestly, I probably should make an entire video dedicated to just this mod. It wouldn't be hard with how expansive and lore friendly it is. Everything added by this mod is also listed on the mod page, so you don't have to be wary about not knowing what you're getting yourself into. So you'll be able to join in and see if everything works fine. And for my testing, everything did work perfectly, but you do take hours of testing to find everything broken. Let me know if you guys end up testing this mod. But up next we have a simple mod called Immersive Patrols. Most people know about this mod, but for the people that don't, this mod adds patrols to the roads of Skyrim, so your traveling isn't just werewolves and wolves and spiders. Now you will see Imperials and Stormcloaks, who will fight if they cross paths, which does happen pretty often. But you'll also see Thalmor walking the roads with prisoners or just going to their next destination. If you go further into the story of Skyrim, Dawnguard NPCs will also start to spawn, but before them you'll just notice vigilants running around. With this mod, it also implements massive fights for you to stumble upon, which can cost you a few FPS, but the size of the fights depend on what file you downloaded. They can vary between small fights to large ones. You can either stumble upon them or you can spoil it for yourself and check the mod page because everything that happens is marked on the map. Up next, a mod for the masochist of Skyrim like myself. This mod is called City Bag Checks, arguably one of the most immersive mods of Skyrim, in my opinion alone. This mod makes it so depending on what setting you set it as in an MCM before you start your game, at base is 10%, but you can raise it up to 100%. Guards will have a chance to approach you either before you enter the city at the gate or while you're already in the city. They will force greet you so you don't have a chance to run away and require to check your bag, where they will check for common illegal things such as skooma or really any other drug. They won't check for soul gems, maybe it's because they don't fully understand it, as someone pointed out in the comments. But one thing to look out for, they will also check your companion's belongings, meaning if you don't have anything illegal in your inventory, if you have a follower that just happens to pick things up impulsively, you will also still be thrown in jail, or you can fight your way to freedom.
So, a quick bag check to make sure you aren't bringing anything you shouldn't be into the city. Well, I'm afraid we can't let you leave. Not until we've checked your belongings for contraband. So, if you don't mind, thank you for being cooperative. A goddamn skooma addict, huh? Should have guessed. The only mistake was you showing your face. You've committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. And it's time to face the yard. I guess you're...
With that example being done, moving on to the next mod, adding a brand new town to Skyrim. This mod in New City is called Granite Hill by Sky King, not the other one that you guys probably already know about and has 10 times the amount of downloads, but this lesser known one adds a city just behind the Dragon Mount, and yes, for those wondering, it is compatible with Ryan's Dragon Mounts, with the patch of course, which is also on console. This new city even has a complete player home for those tired of living in Whiterun. You do have to complete a series of quests though, which is provided by this mod. But the reason why I strongly recommend this mod is because it was already intended for the game, but it was cut from the final product unfortunately. And I assume it had to do with the Dragon Mount being there and they didn't want to have a whole script with it being destroyed and everything. But I also assume if it was originally put into the game that it would look exactly like this. Mainly due to the fact that every other village like this looks exactly like the same design of this village. But fair warning, it is a completely new location, so it can be a bit heavy on your FPS. But for the most part, it shouldn't cost you much, and for those using northern roads, there is a patch available. But why stop at a completely new city? Let's overhaul the existing ones also, if you have the FPS available for it. This mod is called Skyrim Fantasy Overhaul. I did show this mod when it originally came out, but that was only for PC. But now it is for console and all its glory. Adding a completely cosmetic city wall overhaul to pretty much every major city in Skyrim, starting off with Whiterun and moving over to Riften, which kind of has the more unique import on the walls because as you can see there is a new archway added, will also include lots. Besides just walls, you'll also see towers and arches, and also new clocks to complete its look. And as you can see, they also feature their own custom textures when you install the mod. But honestly, even with the new textures, I just kept the ones that I was already using and they fit perfectly. Especially when you compare it with Solitude and my Windhelm textures. In my personal opinion, the Windhelm overhaul by this mod is definitely the best. It kind of feels like Windhelm should have always looked like this, because it provides a completely new lore-friendly look to Windhelm. Based on the dialogue by certain NPCs, Windhelm was always meant to be the capital, or used to be at one point, and this mod definitely makes it look like it. And yes, lots are included with this, but you can always rebuild your own. Just make sure to delete the ones included with this mod. And that was it for today guys. Let me know how you felt about these mods, but as of right now, make sure you hit that like button down below if you ended up enjoying the video, and also don't forget to endorse mod authors. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.